this item that means ownership, but he was saying it belongs to everyone. So I made it inspired by him. So it says this belongs to. So you could put it in at Art Metropole. I had this event where people brought books and donated books and wrote their name, and then people were free to take a book.
So this word in English is how to say or 是存在的是吧 ？Existent.
So that this sounds awkward in English or not?
Well, this is what I would say in English, and I asked a friend who's Chinese to translate it, and she said this sounds good to her. So she added it. I don't know how it sounds to you. If that sounds like a good translation.
他因为就是说他的朋友是把这句话直接翻译成了这句话，但是因为语境不一样，语言不一样，然后他就把它先转成了中国的意思，然后再转成了中文。这个的话就等于说是谁拥有这本书，对吧？然后这本书是belongs to 这个人和他的朋友们。但书在中国的话，可能就做增长。
增长
You can say that.
Yeah,
and it sounds okay?
It sounds okay. I think
Okay.
it's gonna make the book really precious, and
Okay.
yeah, something people.
I think she added something,
Yeah.
but maybe it's nice because I know it's, I know EDR, I know very little Mandarin, but I speak, I grew up speaking French and I speak Spanish and German, and it's a problem if you say in French and German, they want you to have gender in there. It would be his or her friends.
Okay.
You can't just say,
Just
so every language I'm encountering a new translation problem, which is interesting.
Yeah, I find that too. 你觉得这样翻译好吗
You mean just the translation?
Yes. Does that seem a good translation, or maybe you don't need this? It belongs to. See, she says owned instead of belongs to because maybe.
Belongs to is kind of the ownership as well.
Yeah, it's ownership, but then he's like Norman Bethune was turning it around by saying everyone owns it.
Oh, okay.
So it's using the word own or belong,
okay.
but then changing the meaning. Okay. So.
你觉得拥有这个
增长是更好好，拥有那个感觉不一样。
是哈，因为他就说这句话是他那个是白求恩的那句话，然后白求恩的那句话的话，原来他就说本书由白求恩和他的朋友登纸堂，但是就说白求恩强调的是所有人都能够共同拥有，就有这个概念在里面，所以他就说，所以他在挑这句话的时候其实是去引用白求恩的这句话。然后现在翻成中文的话，怎么样翻会比较能够体现出白求恩想表达出的那个意思？
那加个共同珍藏。
共同珍藏。Yeah, I think maybe
a different way. Do you want to write it?
No, only put one.
Just add one phrase, and then.
加了一个副词。
加了一个副词，
Can you just write it?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to do it? 你来写吧，共同。你的字
我字写得不好。
你的字写得好。
是吧？我好久不写字了。
我也，
It's like a survey. Part of my survey.
共同。
对，共同。
共同是吧？
对。你的字肯定比我的。
This means a share.
Yeah, it's a share, and
share.
Okay. So we preciously own together and share this precious ownership.
Oh, that's nice.
This is remind me a very different thing is Western. If people like to book, but they don't want to write on the page.
Yes.
This is a show respect.
Oh, maybe.
But in China, if you like to, you should.
Oh, you should write on it.
Yeah, this is a.
No, but some people too. If you have a book and you give it to someone, then you would. Often, if you give someone a book, then you inscribe. You say, "I give this book to you with respect," and you would write it. People do that too.
But as I know, in ancient China, many, almost every 读书人
People.
They make notes
Yeah,
inside.
they need to actually.
they want to write something in the page.
Yeah, take notes along their reading.
And after this, how to say this
Notation.
The book became more important.
Yes, we would think so too. Because often, like famous philosophers will have a book and they'll write all over it. And that will be important too. And I have another thing, it's like a book. It's, do you know these Post-it notes?
Yeah, I know.
So, but it's a set that I made, it's called 100 Things That Make Me Happy. So I tried to think of 100 things that make me happy. And when I had a show, I had the 100 Post-it notes on the wall with these different things in here. But then I made it so that people could have a copy. But the idea is either you would keep it like this and keep the 100 things here, or you take them off and use them.
这是他之前做的，然后他就挑了100样他能够让他开心的东西，然后他就把它做成文字贴。所以说，如果有人这是 multiple， 大家能买 ，it's multiple， it's art book.
Yes.
It's an art book.
Yeah, there are 30 of them, an edition of 30. So I wrote them by hand. I took all the Post-it notes and printed. Then I had to stick them back together again.
Oh, really?
So it looks like very little has happened.
That's really neat.
So you can't use it like they're all printed. They're printed inside, but every sheet is something different.
哇，
这是硬的是吧？
这是硬的。
他用他的专门去印的。
对，然后再把它重新全部再贴在一起的。然后这是一本小书，然后你买了的话，你可以自己选择分开贴，或者你也选择保持在一起。然后他做展览的时候就把这100的都贴出来。
That's very good.
I also discovered that you think what things make me happy as if materialistic objects. And at first I was going to draw all these things, but then I realized they aren't things, they're states of mind or very abstract concepts. So they're words. So like for me, they're kinds of keywords. They're like phrases and things that are important to me. Yeah, I took, it's this object you would find in everyday life. It's very common. And it's usually some kind of warning, like police scene, danger, something like that. And I put danger, I think I'm falling in love with you, which is something much more personal you would never have in a spot. It's on tape that is supposed to be biodegradable.
Oh, it's biodegradable.
Technically it's supposed to fall apart in 18 months, but I don't really believe that. Hardly falls into tiny pieces of plastic.
Okay.
But it's supposed to fall apart. But I've put it up in different places, outdoors, and people don't read it because they think they know what it says.
Yeah, they take it for granted and they just don't take it as default.
Or I've had it in installation and shows, and people look at the art and then they see this and they think something's being fixed, and they don't look at it.
I
So
see.
I like to have it actually in non-art places too.
That's nice. 因为他说这些的话不是单警察，有的时候在这儿修路，或者说有些比较危险的场景的时候，他们也会把这个周围线拉起来拦着嘛。然后上面写着的是说小心，当心，我想我爱上你了。然后他觉得这是一个很私人的，不像是那些公共场合的那些危险的警告。然后他就把做展览的时候，他把就说在他的作品外面他拉了这条线。然后别人看到这条线的第一反应以为有什么东西在修，然后要小心，然后就在四处找，但其实这也是他的作品。然后另外他选的这个材料 suppose 就说是，能够自动降解的，生物降解的，但是他不太相信。按理说他说18个月以后它能够被自动降解，但是他觉得应该不会。
它不是塑料。
对。
I guess a lot of my work deals with text. That's mainly the work I got at. This is something I've done recently. It's also the same idea as this. It's from my library, Ex Libris. So I have this multiple, this little book, but I also have, like that, I have life-size shelves of the same book. And I guess this was inspired by, I heard there was an interior decorator in New York City who would arrange people's books, but arrange them so they look beautiful in mountains and valleys and by color. But that seemed very strange to me because books are content, they're not just beautiful objects.